Welcome back to Justice. Joining me now, former Republican presidential candidate and former governor of the state of Arkansas, Mike Huckabee. All right, good evening, Governor Huckabee. It's good to have you here on Justice. Now, what do Republicans have to do to win this election in November?
Well, Republicans just have to come together and then recognize they've got a lot of people who have not been voting for them historically. A lot of working class people, union members, people who've been independents and Democrats. I think Donald Trump is going to win this election. And I really believe if you look at it, he is the guy that nobody thought would win, and he blew everybody out. Hillary is the person that nobody thought could lose, and she's barely hanging on against a 74-year-old socialist. So this election is not, as it's often touted to be, that Trump is way behind. And the polls are now reflecting that he's
I'll tell
ahead
you,
of
Governor,
her.
I just said it. I mean, the polls right now have Trump beating Hillary. That's today.
Well, they do. And this is early. And there's something that I think people miss. Hillary is going to be very predictable. She's not like her husband, who is very nimble politically. He could react, he could respond, he could pivot. Hillary is like the British Army in the Revolutionary War. She'll wear a very bright red coat. She'll march to the cadence of a very pronounced drum, and she'll march in an open field shoulder to shoulder with other redcoats. Donald Trump is going to come at her from the trees like she's never seen before. And that's going to so put her off her game. Well, but it's going to be, and there's one other thing, Judge, that I think people have not really thought about. Donald Trump has eviscerated every opponent he had in the primary. When he goes after Hillary, it's not going to be unlike the kind of campaign he's run against his own team. So when typically what happens, the Republicans, well, they have their battles, but it's not that mean, and then they get to the general, and when they go after their opponent, it really can come across poorly, especially if it's a female. That's not going to be the case with Trump. He went after everybody.
All right. Now, what about this Gary Johnson, this libertarian who's got now Bill Weld running for vice president? How is that third-party candidacy? I mean, if it even is one, how does that affect the race? Does it hurt Trump or help him?
It could hurt him a little bit, but in the long run, let's remember there's always been a libertarian candidate. I don't think there's a groundswell for the libertarian candidate, and I know Gary Johnson. He's a good guy. He was governor of New Mexico when I was in office as governor.
And Bill Weld,
had a good record there.
Yeah.
I knew Bill Weld as well. He was in Massachusetts. These are good guys, but, you know, we don't have a history of having it. And plus, here's what I do think, keep in mind. There will be as many Bernie supporters who are not going to vote for Hillary. Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's the worry she's got to have.
Well, the Bernie supporters, and very quickly now, and we don't know whether Egypt flight demise was terrorism or not, but does terrorism help or hurt Trump?
It's a big issue for him because he's the guy that makes it very clear he's not going to put up with this. And he's unafraid to call out terrorism as just what it is. You know, people don't have terrorist acts saying Jesus saves. They say Allah Akbar. And he's been clear to point that out, and that's a big advantage.
Governor Huckabee, thanks so much. And next, she's back. I go one-on-one with liberal radio talk show host Coco Sudek about Hillary and the words she refuses to utter that I think could cost her the election. Don't miss it.